Welcome. Let me adjust that screen a little bit. It's off. That's crazy. Let's get it where I want it. There we go. Should be live. Excuse the little camera adjustment there. I'm Darren. You probably know that by now. Welcome to Refuge. Glad to have you. As always, we start with announcements. We're trying to make this seem just like you are sitting there on the couches here at Selma, the building. So you can connect with us on Facebook. You can connect with us on YouTube, which is what you're on now, YouTube Live, and Instagram, which I'm trying to get a handle on. So connect with us on all those ways. And website, it's really good to go to the website at least once a week. Maybe not Sunday, but Mondays when you start your school week, or if you're not even a student, you just want to know what's going on at student with Selma, you want to pray for us, you might want to help out with something, go to the website, selmamemphis.org, go to Fall 2020. Every week I update that with a new schedule of what's going on, and then you can click the links, like you can find the YouTube channel on there, YouTube Live. We have 2 surveys right now on there, fall event survey. University of Memphis just got an email a while ago opening up to events of 25 people. So hoping to have a fall event. Maybe we'll do a pumpkin carving. Maybe we'll do something, at least get together, have a Halloween trivia. So you've got to look to see where we can have one of those. All right, YouTube channel. If you've missed a refuge, if you've missed one of the lessons on Mark, if you missed one of our summer series, if you just want to share it with a friend, say, hey, these are pretty short little devos. We're covering the Gospel of Mark, and there's other devos from the summer. We have a YouTube channel, and you can access it from there and appreciate it. All right, something about Memphis. I always try to give you some good news, something good about Memphis. So this is kind of cool. Cheryl and I have done this many times before COVID. They used to open it up once a month. But you can do this yourself. You could take a walking tour of the Main Street downtown, historic Memphis, and you can access it on your smartphone. Go southmain.com tour. Open that up on your phone, and it'll walk you through some of the historic things downtown. So the weather is going to be beautiful this weekend. If you're looking for something to do, maybe go downtown and check this out. And you can check that out on your phone. Again, go southmain.com/tour. Get that on your phone. Go downtown and experience some of the great historic things in Memphis, because we have a great city. All right, Monday meal at our house. I was informed by one of the students that the survey had on there, you had to register with Google, and it was a pain. So I've changed that. So October 12th, a week from Monday, you can dine with the Ruddies and Maddie, our dog. That's to look at our house. Of course, it's decorated for Halloween now. Love for you to see the Halloween decorations we've done. Free meal, free food. McAllister's, you have to go on there. Just let me know who you are and give me what item you want, and we're going to purchase it for you. We will social distance. We'll be out there in the porch area, and we will eat together. So a Monday meal. Please join us. Go to the website, fill out the form, and you'll be able to do that. All right, first comment on this video. We'll get a Selma t-shirt. It's fall. The weather's perfect. I have everything but large. So I have small, medium, and extra large. If you need a new long sleeve t-shirt, be the first one to comment on this video. I see your comment. We'll reach out to each other, and voila, get a free t-shirt. So kind of incentive. Hopefully some of you will be watching this either now or later. Doesn't matter. Just comment on there and you'll get a shirt. All right. We're in Mark chapter 7, and there's a little bit of clue. I changed everything up right before we started. And you'll see maybe some hints of what's going on here. With some little animals in the background. But Mark chapter 7 is a great chapter. So far, we've been going through Mark, and you're seeing the Son of God, Jesus, just doing all these amazing things. And if I were to sum it up, a couple of chapters that we've gone through, it is compassionate power. Jesus is all about compassionate power. We are seeing the power of the Son of God living here among us, living with us, and how powerful he is, all these healings, the demons being thrown out and cast out, and he's also very compassionate about it. Now, today's lesson, that compassion is a little bit strange and different, and we'll see that. And that's why I've decided to name this lesson Going to the Dogs. We'll step through chapter 7. When chapter 7 begins, you have Jesus in a dispute with Pharisees and followers. And it's very common. This will seem familiar if you've watched some of the other Refuge from before about Mark. But basically, they see that Jesus and the disciples are not washing their hands before they eat. Now, this type of washing, they say, how come you aren't doing the ceremonial washings? These are not washings to be clean. These are not COVID-19, wash your hands, do the Aramaic ABCs to make sure your hands are clean and everything like that. No, they're doing the cleanliness, the sanitizing washing. They're not doing these ceremonial washings. What had happened was they had taken certain rules and made a production out of it, made it a very religious type thing that it shouldn't be. But they're asking him, how come you aren't following these traditions, these rules that we've set forth, not rules that God had set forth? And so they're trying to call Jesus out. Hey, Jesus is doing something different. He's bringing something different. He's showing us God's heart. When we look at Jesus, we see the heart of God. And so he's not following these things that divide people. He's not following things that put religion before God. He wants them to see and feel and love and know God and know what that's like to live that out. And that's what we get in this. And so he calls them out on it. He said, you have taken these traditions and regulations and you have gone so far as you are not blessing people, but you are damaging them. You're being almost like a curse to them. And he doesn't say that, that's my words, but if you read through that, he just condemns them for what they're pushing with these ceremonies and these traditions. And I think today we have to be careful of those things. We go to worship, that we don't worry about the how many songs there are, or what's the order of worship, or does it only go for an hour? I know that's a big one. Sometimes it might go longer than an hour, whatever. We need to get beyond those. That's why I think it's good to have different worships with different brothers and sisters all throughout the city. So look forward to when COVID's gone and we can do that once again. But so Jesus lays it out that it is not the outside of what you take into your body that defiles you. It's what comes out of your body that defiles you. And I'm going to read from the version of the Message. They do it in a very good way. It talks about polluting. It's not what goes into your body. It's what comes out that can be polluting. And so he leaves the Pharisees and the disciples, and they go and get some private time. And the disciples are, again, as you've seen before in Mark, they're a little confused. They're like, explain this to us. Explain this parable. Explain this what you're talking about. And Jesus again says, okay, I'll explain to you. You don't get it. I understand. It's not the food. It's not what you eat. It's not what you're taking in that defiles you, because that'll pass through the body. It'll go out into the latrines. It'll go out into the toilet, go into the waste system. That doesn't destroy the body. So with this, he was saying everything that you can eat, it's okay. But it's what comes out of the body that makes you unclean. And this is the way the Message says it in verse 20 through 23. And I think he just did an awesome job, so bear with me. He said, he went on, it's what comes out of a person that pollutes. Love that. What comes out of a person that pollutes? Obscenities, lusts, thefts, murders, adulteries, greed, depravity, deceptive dealings, carousing, mean looks, slander, arrogance, and foolishness. All of these are vomit from the heart. These are the source of your pollution. I love that. I love the Message and how it says that. That's verse 23. All these are vomit from the heart. That is the source of your pollution. So he kind of just lays it right out there, right? It's not the practices or the ceremonies or those things that are important to God. What he's saying, what's important to God is not what you're doing. It's what comes out of you. What comes out of your life? What comes out of how you treat people, how you love people, how you show grace to people. We are as much stewards. I know we talk about being stewards of our money, of our resources. We need to be stewards of grace and kindness and forgiveness. Things like these too, because all of these flow out of our heart. So let not the pollution and vomit flow out of our heart. Let the good things come out of our heart. What's kind of interesting is he steps right into a story that is very good, which kind of demonstrates this, kind of the way the Bible works sometimes. But before we go into that, I want to start with some quotes, and I want to see if you can guess where these quotes from. It is a character, and the character's in a movie, and I'm going to read a couple of these quotes and see if you know where it comes from. First quote, I have just met you, and I love you. Another quote, please be my prisoner, please. And the third quote, I was hiding under your porch because I love you. So you've probably guessed by now, it's not a person. It's one of I have so many favorite characters movies, but in this movie, Up, you've probably guessed who it is, right? It's Doug. Yes, I love Doug. There's a joke about a squirrel, but I didn't do that quote. And you can look that up, but it's funny as well. So Doug the dog, Doug from Up. I love Doug from Up. The last quote is, I love that man there like he is my master. When I think of Doug, think of somebody that is loving, kind. He's Doug. When I think of someone, Doug the character, he is humble. He's just so enthusiastic. And I love that he says, I have just met you and I love you. I've been hiding in your porch because I love you. I think there's some Christian characteristics in Doug that we could all follow. And in this story from Mark 7, when I think of it, I think of Doug. So I'm going to read this directly. Verse 24. And from there he arose and went away to the region of Tyre and Sidon, and he entered a house and did not want anyone to know, yet he could not be hidden. Jesus will always be found out wherever he is. That's kind of like that light on the hill, right? But immediately a woman whose little daughter had an unclean spirit heard of him and came and fell down at his feet. Now the woman was a Gentile, a Syrophoenician by birth. So she was lowly. She wasn't a Jew. She would have been considered lowly. And she begged him to cast the demon out of her daughter. And he said to her, let the children be fed first, for it is not right to take the children's bread and throw it to the dogs. Whoa! This may seem like, really? Those words come out of Jesus' mouth? That doesn't seem very uplifting. That doesn't seem very kind. That doesn't seem very generous. In doing some research here, some things you find out is yes, she was a Gentile. She wasn't a Jew. Jesus even said he first came to the Jews. But this word, dog, when he says, let the children be fed first, for it is not right to take the children's bread and throw it to the dogs. This word that we see as dogs is not the word that other people would have used at that time. And explain that, they would have used a word that was an awful mean word. Kind of like our B word today when you may call someone that. If you don't know what that word is, great. But this word he used was not this mean, lowly word that most other people would have used when calling her out, when describing her social status in the system. They would have used the word that was derogatory and mean and letting down. He used a word meaning puppy, like a small puppy. And everybody loves puppies. We love puppies. But he used a different word. So So realize that there is compassion even in the way Jesus is talking to her, even though it may seem like very unkind words. But maybe it was a test. But she answered him, "Yes, Lord. Yet even the dogs under the table eat the children's crumbs." And he said to her, "For this statement, you may go your way. The demon has left your daughter." And she went home and found the child lying in bed, and the demon was gone. It may seem like Jesus was being rude, but he wasn't. He came and he stated it clearly. Now, this woman's response is what I think is amazing. And that if you go back to where we were before, like what flows out of us, the vomit of our heart, what flowed out of her heart after Jesus said this to her? She was still humble, respectful, but she kept on. She kept on with God. She kept on with Jesus. She didn't get angry. She didn't get upset. She acknowledged her place in relationship to Jesus, right? She said, even, I understand this, but even the children get to eat crumbs from the dogs. Her persistence, and I believe the way she responded, which Jesus was talking about, what flows out. What flowed out of her was love for her daughter, respect for the Lord, an acknowledgement that he is the powerful one. She is not. And that blessings come down and the blessings flow down. And if you're at the bottom, you're thankful for those blessings that come, but they still come down. I think that is immediately what Jesus was referring to before when he talked about what comes out of us. So I thought that was pretty amazing. This woman is a great example, maybe in our prayers, maybe how you want to approach your prayers when you come before the Lord. Just kind of analyze and think about the way she was in her humbleness, her lowliness of state, down, realizing that God's the one who will bring the blessings and that we are of a lowly state. That's hard to accept sometimes, to be humble, to realize the Almighty and the All-Powerful can do as he chooses. But when we see it through Jesus, we see compassion and love and kindness and blessings and affirmation. And don't forget to be persistent, because she was persistent. After that one response, she just didn't sulk away or go away or run away or disappear. She kept after the Lord. She kept after Jesus. And Jesus, in his compassionate power, made that demon leave her daughter. The last story in Mark chapter 7 is of a man who was deaf and a little bit mute. And it's interesting the way Jesus heals him. People come, they bring him before Jesus and beg Jesus to heal him. He takes him aside and he spits, then he touches his tongue, and he says these words. Before he does, he spit, he put his fingers in his ears, spit, touched the man's tongue, looking up to heaven, he sighed and said, "Ephphatha," that is, be opened. Now, what's interesting is the sign that he did. He sighed. This same word, when we look at it, is the same word in Romans chapter 8, verse, I think, 23, where it talks about how we are groaning with the new birth that is coming. Our spirit, we're assured that our spirit is renewed by God, but we know that our body is going to be made new. And that same type of groaning, Jesus groaning. And I believe that is Jesus' sigh, his groan, because he knows things are not perfect and not right yet. And so he heals this man and he groans. So I want you to know that just as we groan, as we groan for the resurrection, for the renewal, for the restoration, for all things new that will come again, Like in the midst of this crisis, in the midst of everything that's going on, believe me, more than anyone, I would love for things to be renewed and restored and have students actually in the chairs and couches here instead of having to do this for YouTube Live. Spend time with students again, diving into the Word and being thankful for God and just sharing time and food and things like that. But I know God is faithful. And I think God sighs during these times too, because Jesus sighed. He sighed because this man was not whole, and it was not God's design, not God's intention, things that had happened. Jesus sighed, but then he did heal him. And eventually, all of us will be healed, restored, renewed, all of God's children. So acknowledge Jesus as the one who groans with us, who loves us, who has compassionate power, who loves you so much that he groans with us as we groan during this time. But we have to hold on strong and faithful, knowing that there is goodness and righteousness and great things coming. Be like Doug. I feel a lot of Doug. Love you all. Just knowing that some of you will see this. Those that don't, still love them. Long for the day when we get together. I will love it when we all get together and gather in one room. Till then, we'll gather outside. We'll gather in different ways. But as always, I will ask you to be a blessing and be blessed. Turned it around this time. Be a blessing and be blessed. Thanks. Have a great week.